What is up, everybody? Welcome into the first inaugural X-Strike show. Ooh, holy crap, dudes, we did it. We're on the tubes. What's up, everybody?
Got the visuals.
Yeah, so we are officially leaving the land of the podcast and joining the world of video. It's nice to see you all. So, my name is Jordan. As always, I'm joined by my very good friends on the couch over here.
Jeff.
Great! So, how is everybody, first and foremost?
Pretty good.
Looks like it's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
We stalled out a little bit, but it's partially due to considering making this jump that we're making right here. So, you might notice the audio might be a little wonky this week. We're waiting on a part to utilize our board, so that shall be rectified next week.
You get the eye candy, so that's you can't complain.
We got the Final Fantasy, we got the Captain America, we got the Black like the Soul, so we're good. We're good to go.
At least you have a soul.
Well, I mean, take it for what it is, I suppose. So, we are going to cover a little bit of old ground this week. We'll get into some new stuff too. We're going to be talking games on the show. We're going to be talking music on the show. We might even get into some books. You just never know. So, stick around.
Boobs.
Thanks for joining us. And boobs. Boobs are definitely going to be a topic on the show. Much to Jeff's chagrin. Alright, so let's start with Mario Kart 8. The three of us on the show, we all have Switches. Brad, who couldn't join us tonight, he does not. He's the lone dissenter. He's our
odd man out.
Our odd man out.
We're gonna single him out. He does not.
Well, it's well documented on the show. He's our resident Sony fanboy. So.
Well, I think he's been real tempted, actually.
We were talking about that. I think the more he sees how much we are enjoying them, I think he's like, oh, what is this Switch you all are messing with?
Come back to the light side of Nintendo.
Mm.
Yeah, when we did our Saturday gaming, and you went home because it was late. When we turned on Mario Kart, before we turned on Mario Kart 8, he was like, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
We click it on, and he's like, maybe I could hang out for a little bit.
It stuck around for like another hour and a half.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny. Alright, so speaking of good old Mario Kart 8 here, let's talk about it a little bit. First and foremost, are you guys enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had fun with you already, and while I was waiting for you to get home tonight, I was sitting on your front porch when you showed up.
You beat me home by a little bit. I was like, oh, Jeff's here. All right. We're starting early tonight. So, safe to say you're...
Yeah, it's one of the mainstays of Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little pick up and play as well. So.
Yeah. How about you?
Man, I'm definitely digging it.
Yeah, because you get a little bit of a unique perspective because you did not play it on...
Right, I didn't
Wii
play 8 on the Wii U. I played 7 on the DS, and I played Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
But I didn't really. It's not that I didn't enjoy those two. I just didn't. They didn't really do a whole lot for me, and they were fun. But I wasn't the type to go and just play them on my own. If I had a crowd of people, or if I went online with Mario Kart Wii, I'd jump on it. But they didn't really seem like Double Dash to me is the best.
Yeah, Double Dash is a high watermark for the Mario Kart franchise.
Yeah.
I don't think, in my mind, it's 64, Double Dash, and 8. I think are the three best of all the entries in the series.
And I think 8 Deluxe is far and away better than just 8 for the Wii U.
So you and I had the distinct pleasure of this had to be a rebuy for us because you and I did have it for. We had already purchased it for Wii U, including the DLC, which was an extra $20.
Right.
So we spent $80 first time around, and then we both dropped $60 again for the second go around. So for you, has it been worth plunking the $60 down again?
Yeah. The graphic bump between the Wii U and this, I mean, the first time I fired it up and played it on the Switch, I was blown away.
That was like the first thing you texted me. You were like, dude, the graphics.
Yeah, it was crazy. And because of the graphic bump and the frames per second and everything, it feels faster even in 50 cc's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I'm happy with that. And then the fact that they took battle mode and brought it back to what it should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
I'm with you on that. I don't mind that I plunked down the money again. Of course, I traded in a couple things, so I lessened the blow a little bit. But
Right.
even if I hadn't done that, I was planning on purchasing it at some point. All the trade-ins did for me was I bought it day one instead. I really love it. It feels like Nintendo took everything that people said could be tweaked about it the first time around and did so.
Right.
Graphics are smooth. The UI is a little bit better. They didn't tweak it a whole ton, but just they made enough things to where it just feels smoother from pressing power.
Right.
A couple nice entries too, if you're new to the series in general, is they added a steer assist and a drive assist too. So if you have small ones, or maybe your girlfriend wants to play but she's not awesome at Mario Kart and you want to play on 150cc's anyway, you can turn those functions on and they'll help them out a little bit.
As far as the UI though, it is a little bit unintuitive on how to turn.
That part is, I would agree with you there. That's a little wonky.
It's like you actually just do it from the start screen, which it sounds like it'd be simple, but most people are looking for it at the menu.
Right. It's easier when you're playing with somebody else because it's in the options when you're selecting your cart.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not there in local single player.
You have to
I
hit
was
the
like,
start. and
yeah,
the plus
you have to
button.
actually be looking at the stats
Yeah.
when you select your cart. Otherwise, it's not there. That's right. So that kind of threw me off for my first couple races. I'm like, why in the hell is it not letting me take these shortcuts? It's
Right.
forcing me off the thing. And then I think it was one of you guys who were like, oh, maybe your drive assist is on. I was like, my what now? So turn that off, took care of the whole problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it has the double dash, double items. That's something
Yes,
they added.
I am glad they brought that back. Also included a couple new items. They brought back the Boo Ghost, to switch your items,
Right.
and
The feather.
the Feather.
The feather is only in battle
In
mode.
battle
Yeah.
mode. But which sounds like it would not be useful, but I've used it to my advantage a couple times already. So.
Yeah, you can jump parts of the track, but also if you're playing balloon battle, you can actually jump through someone else's balloons and
Right.
take one.
When we were playing Shine Thief the other night, that's actually how I got to when I snatched it from you.
Right.
That's actually how I got to it before one of the other computer or online players. I jumped over him and snagged it and drove off.
Nice.
Grip, you had a pretty cool little story about interacting with a YouTuber.
Yeah. Okay. So I have an affinity for the Twitch ladies, the girls of Twitch. Just for like a couple of, I'm not like crazy for any girl that streams on Twitch. We all have our poisons that we choose. Some like Haunted Beauty. Shout out to Haunted Beauty. But no, I was just tuning in one night over the weekend, I think it was, and one of my favorite streamers named Alinity, who is a Colombian Saskatchewanian.
Is that a word?
She lives in Saskatchewan.
Sasquatch. She's
Lives
a
in Canada.
Colombian Sasquatch.
She's a
Okay.
Canadian Colombian Canadian. I don't know. She's really funny and cool and super fine. I mean, not that has anything to do with anything, but anyway, she was unboxing her Switch and getting that all set up, and she put her friend code up on the screen, and I just had my Switch there. I added her and jumped into Mario Kart. It was the first time I had played Mario Kart with human opponents because she had all her people, like her subscribers and followers and everything. That was really fun, man. It was like,
Seems like it's doing a really good job of that, of making a neat little niche community for itself already right out of the gate, even with the lack of a traditional online service a la Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or something like that. People are still finding ways to make it work, which I think is awesome. So, one other question I had for y'all on the topic of this is, do you guys see more of this being in the future for the Switch? So, what I mean by that is, do you guys see more ports of Wii U games that necessarily maybe didn't get the love they deserve coming to Switch? So, something like, I don't know, Smash Brothers. Do you see it getting a port?
Please!
Or do you see them saying, okay, new console, new game, you gotta wait 2 years?
man, I remember Reggie saying that he thought it was interesting that a lot of people were clamoring for GameCube ports because the GameCube was one of their less successful systems, and he was like, "Oh, I think that's of all the systems, that's intriguing," and he just has this like kind of connotation of stay tuned if that's what you want. But I mean, as far as the Wii U goes, there were only a couple of titles I felt like I really missed out on because I mean, a lot of the Wii U titles were ports, even like Wind Waker. And, so I mean, a lot of the GameCube stuff carried over and like ported over to the Wii U. I don't know, man. Like, if they keep on porting stuff over that I missed out on Wii U, then if it's a quality that the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, then I'm okay with that.
So what about for somebody like you, Jeff, that had all these games for Wii U and beat most of them? Are you, outside of Mario Kart 8, are you a rebuyer for other things like that? It's okay, nobody was hurt in the filming of this episode.
There are games that I won't pick up, that I know I won't pick up, like any sort of RPG that I put major hours into, like Xenoblade Chronicles, things like that. I'm not going to pick up another copy of that, but Smash and Mario Kart, I'm fine with that. You know, because this is a better community, and that means that whereas you and I had Wii U, so we would get online and we would play Mario Kart together. But now, with more friends picking up Switches, you know, Adam can be in the mix now, and we can just go online and we can do tournaments, we can do all sorts of stuff.
I will say, it is pretty cool. It seems like more friends of mine have adopted this Nintendo system than any other previous one, so I'm excited for that. All three of us have one. 2 or 3 people I know outside of here have one, so it's cool. It's really cool to see. Nintendo's already sold, what do they say, like 2 million units or something they're on track for, which is awesome. So I think things are going well. Alright, so let's get off the topic of the retread. I think the verdict on Mario Kart 8 is, we all love it. It's worth it. Pick it up if you haven't picked it up already. Yeah.
Even if you already had it for Wii U.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yourself.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. It is worth the rebuy. It is definitely worth the rebuy. A few weeks ago we did it. Well, a few weeks ago, we're probably talking back maybe a month ago. We'd done a episode of our old podcast on Breath of the Wild when it launched, and I think at the time we each had maybe 10, 15 hours in it at the time, except for you nut. And we said we would report back after a few more weeks of play when we had all invested several hours into it and talk about our experience again. So we're going to take a minute and hit on that. As the time of this recording, I have almost 80 hours into my game. I think, Grip, you're sitting right around there somewhere, and then this nutbar's got like 200 hours into his game.
Yeah.
So, still enjoying?
Yeah, but I will admit I have not been very consistent with playing it in the last several weeks.
Is that due to Mario Kart or just all the stuff that came out right around that time?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of many things. I mean, just life and the release of Outlast 2 and
stay tuned.
Yes, and you know, because I had a habit of playing it while watching Netflix, which I hate to do because I mean it's got a great soundtrack. I love the sound production value on Breath of the Wild, but it was one of those games where I felt like the noise was not necessarily something I had to have, you know, because I could focus in on something else while playing it, and I kind of got away from doing that. I feel maybe, it didn't seem right to take away from. There are some times where you play that game and it's like, all right, you just got slashed from behind from somebody. You didn't hear the music coming up, and Lizalfos just fucked you up from your 6 o'clock. But I mean, like, it is such a quality game. Like, I can't stress that enough. It is like the best launch game that has ever released, right, bar none. I mean, I thought Mario 64 was good. Not to sound too much like a Nintendo fanboy, but that was like the most revolutionary launch game at the time. So I think my experience with it has not faltered. I just that my commitment kind of has.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just been like just trying to get back into other productive stuff and back to like some other games that have come out.
Yep.
So
not like there's not anything else that has come out recently that you've wanted to play. What are you talking about?
Well, not as much. I mean, there have been a few titles, but
Yeah.
But Jeff, man, if anybody's qualified to talk about this game, it's you.
Yeah, I put in a few.
Few days worth.
Yeah, I have somewhere over 200 hours now. I've done all the shrines and I'm working on the Korok seeds. And
Take my hat off right now.
and the one thing I don't want to do in this game is I don't want to finish it. I
Right.
feel like it will keep going, and I know that DLC is coming,
Yeah.
and I'm like, do I really want to go? And if I beat Calamity Ganon, am I going to have that feeling like game over?
Right.
And I would rather do the entire thing and screw around for another 200 hours. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
Very nice.
But
I kind of have the opposite take of you. I am trying to get the story stuff done, and then I'll come back and complete it after that. I've kind of fallen into the same, I don't want to call it a rut because it's not a rut, but the same, I guess, cycle that you have a little bit. Just some other things kind of caught up with me. And I'm not playing it as, like, for that first, 3 weeks, it was every night for 5 hours.
No joke.
I was
yeah.
playing Zelda. But, work and some other things have caught up with me, and so now I'm probably getting 10, 12 hours a week, which is still pretty good for me.
Right.
I'm really bad about single-player games. I'm much more of a social gamer. So just the fact that I have 80 hours into this game, I'm like, well, I must really enjoy this because I'm just sitting down and doing it.
well, considering some games only get 10, 12 hours.
True.
So,
True. So I'm still really enjoying it. I'm plowing through the story. I'm on the last Divine Beast, and then after that, I think I'm trucking straight to Ganon and get some shit done. But love it so far. Like you said, just the fact that the time I've put into it has decreased a little bit has not decreased my enjoyment of it at all. Every time I go into the world, I'm still like, gosh, this game is huge and beautiful, and like you said, the sounds, the soundtrack. Every time I visit a new place, I'm like, man, this song is really good.
Mm-hmm.
To me, a hallmark of a great game is if I want to buy the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games for me.
Absolutely.
I'm like, this is an amazing soundtrack. I love every song on here, so that's something I'm probably going to be doing. But we're waxing way too poetic here, so nobody's completed it. Long story short. What's your favorite thing so far that you've done in it? Or something that it brings you back every time?
Oh, man. I couldn't even... Just exploration, dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't say there's one specific thing that I, look forward to more than anything. It's just overall a great experience. I mean, even if it's a place you think you've scoured over and over and just turned every rock over, you're going to find something new eventually because it's just the attention to detail is insane. I mean, I
was telling Jeff the other day, I just found this place called Terrytown.
Right.
I'm like,
I haven't found that.
How did I miss this? I thought I had been all over here. So, I don't know. Every time I boot it up, I find something new.
It's, I mean, it deserves every ounce of critical accolade that it gets.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. How about you? What's your favorite?
I snuck into Hyrule Castle, and that was a lot of fun. Actually, cutting my way through areas and picking up some of those iconic Legend of Zelda
Shield.
yeah, the shield, and a few other
Spoilers.
things
Sorry.
mixed in. But yeah, it was really cool, and the enemies there are a lot higher
Oh, yeah.
grade. So
A lot of silver and grays hanging out in
Yeah.
Hyrule.
so.
It's bad stuff.
But as I go along, I'm finding I'm able to defeat things that I couldn't defeat before.
We were talking about that the other day.
Right, but it's also to the point where I can. It's a chore, but I can defeat some of the Lionels even.
Yeah.
And
We were talking the other day how we used to be scared shitless of
Right.
Guardians, and now you're just like, do I want to take the 2 minutes out of my journey and fight this guy? Nah, why not? It'll be worth some pickups.
you talked about a 2 Guardian battle
So
you had.
it used to be, you'd see 2 Guardians coming at you, and you're like, well, now I'm fucked. Guess I'm going around this. But I came across this whole little shore that was just littered with deactivated Guardians, and I was like, oh my god, I can harvest all these screws and springs and gears. I need to do this. And so I get down there, and of course there's 2 active Guardians, and I'm like, fuck. And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm much stronger now. I can do this. So I went and got one, brought him out to me, and just played Ring Around the Rosie around one of the dead ones and took him out. Didn't even lose maybe a heart or 2. I was like, okay, I'm strong. I'm getting good at this. So yeah, really awesome. Just seeing your guy grow, especially when you pick up some of the more powerful bows and things, and some of the shit you can pull off. Like, alright.
I recommend visiting the Coliseum.
Yeah, I need to go back and take out that Lionel. I went through it when I was very underpowered.
Right.
Ooh, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I got out of there with like half a heart, and I was like, well, I'll come back there when I got some better shit.
Yeah, that's a fun little challenge for yourself, so
Yeah,
try that.
I'll have to do that. Short story there, still loving that. If you've got a Switch and you don't got Zelda, I don't know what you're doing.
Even a Wii U. If you have a Wii U,
True.
pick
That's a good
up
point.
Yeah,
Zelda Breath
yeah.
of the Wild, because it's a good game.
I was gonna say that game is a system seller, and it even had me contemplating buying a Wii U. Like after they stopped production on it, I was like, maybe if I don't get a Switch, I'll get a Wii U. I'll save some money. And I'm like, it's only going to be a Zelda machine,
Right.
and this Switch has got a bright future ahead of it. So
I'm glad
why
it's
not?
panned out for you a little bit better than maybe you thought it was going to.
The Switch has.
The Switch
You didn't
itself.
think I was going to like the Switch?
Well, I think you might have thought maybe it would be a Zelda machine. So I didn't know that there was too much that you were hyped for other than Zelda and Street Fighter.
I don't know. Coming off of the Wii U, I think I was, and I'm not as much on Nintendo as you guys, but I consider myself like more than any other people I've known previous to you meeting you guys, a big Nintendo fan. But when it comes to a system that I totally bypass, which is unheard of,
Mhm.
other than like Virtual Boy, I was like, man, I know Street Fighter's coming out. Like you were saying, those are the two games they hit me on, and I was like, all right. But I'm seeing more and more. Like I just got Kamiko,
Oh yeah,
that $5 eShop. Man, that game is quality.
The eShop is loaded with some good stuff. Don't sleep on the eShop.
Right, the Neo Geo classics.
Yes, they alone are worth it. I picked up First Metal Slug. Jeff's got Samurai Showdown 4.
Yep.
Friggin' Blaster Master Zero. If you haven't picked that up, it's like $10. And it's really good. And a lot of cool stuff coming on down the line. Speaking of shit that's down the line, let's hop over to this weird little nugget that we all just saw earlier. So, raise your hand if you're familiar with the Senran Kagura franchise. Sheepish. So, if you don't know what this is, it is a very Japanese...
It's a booby beat 'em up.
It's a boob hack and slasher.
Boob hack and slide. There you go.
I mean, it's fan service to the nth degree.
So Japanese.
So, they've announced that there's a Senran Kagura game coming for the Switch in Japan. Doesn't have an NA or European release date set yet. But the big deal with this game is supposedly that they have worked the HD Rumble to simulate breast physics. So, let me get your hot takes on that real quick. We'll start with you, Mr. Grip.
Well, I will admit that I bought the Senran Kagura, the first release for the 3DS, and I mean, like, I really just kind of battled with myself for a long time about getting it because it was like $40 digital download,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I remember back in the day when I talked to you about like 3DS games, I was like, man, I want to get this game, but it's pricey,
Yeah.
and it finally went on sale. One day, the heavens broke apart and the sun shined down. And
Anime
I said,
boobs fell from the sky.
I said, it's $10 off. Well, you know, I got it, and it's fun. It is. It's a really quality beat 'em up. It's just got the overtly perverted
Very, very Japanese.
film.
Edgy.
Yeah, I mean, but it is. It's deep. You know, it's just, well, if you can get past the perviness, hey, it's fun. And then,
Or if you're into that, let your freak flag fly, man. Freak flag fly.
True.
That is a mouthful.
but the fact that the HD Rumble can go from, okay, here's a tech demo, ice cubes, how many ice cubes in the glass, to
Milk
jiggle
cow,
physics.
Yeah.
Jiggle physics in your hand. I mean, that's glorious.
Well, I think this is the perviness aside. This is a good step. If they can work out how to use HD Rumble and make something feel like something that it's not,
Sure.
then how much closer are we
haptic
to
technology
VR?
From a tech aspect, it
Yeah.
is
Right.
simply amazing.
Right. What Nintendo is doing with this, even though it's weird here, it's a step in the direction that I would like it to go.
And that's what I like to see is Nintendo actually catering to some more adult audiences, and not, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the HD Rumble goes, one thing I've noticed in terms of Mario Kart is when you pick up a coin,
Doesn't it feel crazy?
it feels crazy and it actually makes a sound.
I know.
I play it on like mute a lot of times, and it still makes a boom. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, hey,
That's one of the first things I noticed is when I fired 8 up for the first time and started playing it. I was like, man, this Rumble is crazy. It's like, it's really immersive. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
absolutely.
It doesn't break from it like some of the more crude stuff, like going back to the Rumble Pack and then 64. It's not just buzzing for the sake of buzzing.
Right.
It's like true
sophisticated.
haptic, well thought out. I don't know, just like really good feedback, a tactile feedback from
Right.
a freaking visual
So-
thing.
If Nintendo like relaunches the Virtual Boy or does jump on the VR train, they've got gold
Yeah.
on their hands
Yeah.
because like Sony's still playing with the PlayStation Move controllers,
And I don't think it's
which look
terribly
ridiculous
well,
and are
yeah.
like outdated technology. But then we got the HD Rumble is like super small, super sophisticated.
Mhm.
Right. And if anybody else tried to pick up this technology, Nintendo has the patent on it.
Sure.
You know, they're the ones who are working with this technology and advancing the field. A lot of people look at the graphics and say, hey, you don't have the tech specs of the other consoles, but that's not the way they're going. That's never been the way that Nintendo went.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really interesting that they'll step into
A thing.
yeah
Stuff
The
and
realm
things.
of
no experimental.
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
They'll-
absolutely.
And
All
the others,
that.
the others don't. They follow if it looks like something good.
Nintendo took a big gamble on this whole Switch thing. They really did. They took a huge risk. They didn't know if this thing was going to work. Luckily for them, it's paying off in dividends, which only encourages them to try more new and experimental things, which is great for the consumer.
Right.
So,
Speaking of great for the consumer, let's talk about Rainway.
okay, yeah.
So Rainway, there's a app studio. They're coming out with an app for the Xbox One, for some other devices, and for the Switch. And with this, you will be able to live stream games to your Switch, play them.
From your Steam account.
Yeah, Steam or other PC things, and play them on your Nintendo Switch.
I'm curious to see how the legal logistics of all that pans out.
Right.
That would be the only thing that I would think would cause a bit of a hang-up, so we'll have to see what happens there.
If
the idea
anybody's
sounds
got good
amazing.
lawyers, if anyone has the lawyers,
It's
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Holy shit. Did you see they shut down that 2D Zelda fan project that was going?
Yeah, just like the Metroid
Yeah,
one.
they got a DMCA.
I still have the file for that Metroid one.
Oh, nice. You better hang on to that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the wise thing for Nintendo would be to allow this app, but if they need to regulate it in some way to protect their developers,
Mhm.
then that's what they need to do.
Mhm.
You know.
I'll be really curious to see what happens with that. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it here at the show. So on that note, we're running out of time here, and we don't want to keep you guys all night. So we'll just real quick, as a form of outro, we're going to give you guys our music and album recommends, or just what we're listening to for the week. So we'll start on the far side of the couch. What's in your disc player right now?
Well, I have been journeying backwards in time, and for the last couple of days, I've been playing Mos Def Black on Both Sides
Nice.
from 1999.
Nice.
And ever since I first heard that album, it's been one of my favorites, and it has held up supremely well. Like I said, it's been in my CD player for the last couple of days, and I have like a 2-hour round trip,
Yeah.
all day, every day. And I just keep listening to it back and forth, man, because it's good. Aside from that, I have listened to the Gorillaz album, Humans, but I have not bought it yet. So I can't speak too much about that because I was really excited for that, but just haven't made the trip to Best Buy to get it yet.
Sure.
But from what I've heard, I'm excited to get the rest. That's all.
And they're coming to town.
Yes, and I already have tickets.
Nice.
For a ticket.
I have one ticket.
Seat 19. Buy them myself.
What are you listening to?
I have been. I booted up Slacker Radio,
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening to comedy albums.
Nice.
So I've been listening to Bill Burr and all the other greats. And
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. Got to get my laugh on.
That's a good way to go. I went through a period where I was listening to a lot of comedy stuff too. A lot of Eddie Izzard albums.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a good time waster. Well, not waster, but good entertainment, I should say.
How about you?
I have been listening to Kendrick Lamar's "Damn" like non-stop. I cannot get it out of my disc player. And I just read an article on it the other day that blew my mind and makes total sense. That if you listen to the album from track 1 through 14, it tells one story, but if you listen to it starting at the last track and going backwards, it tells a different story. If you haven't done this yet, do it, because it'll blow your freaking mind. But pay special attention to the lyrical content of the album. I can't recommend it enough. Even if you are new to hip-hop, or if you're like me and you're really picky with your hip-hop, it's a good album. Another one I'm looking forward to is a nice smaller band that's just getting some love from a company called Dreambound Records. A band called Resolve. They've got an album coming out on Friday. You can watch the video for their track Abyss right now on Dreambound Records YouTube channel. It's really good if you like a little bit of heavier music, a little bit of punk mixed in with your hard rock. It's good shit. So those would be my two recommends. So, successful first show. We thank you all for joining us. We hope to start doing this weekly. Hopefully you'll see a weekly YouTube show now instead of a podcast. So, got any ideas, topics you want us to hit up? Shoot us an email. We still have the old xstrikepodcast@gmail.com. You can email us. You can find us on Facebook. We probably won't change our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram handles for a while, just until the transition is complete. But we have changed our YouTube name. It's no longer X Strike Podcast. Now you can find us at XS Show on YouTube. So check that out. Thanks for joining us for the first one, and we'll see you all next week.
Peace.